So I'm coming from an iPhone 12, standard base model. It's been 3.5 years. The phone was getting a little bit laggy. The battery was draining really quick. So I was super excited when the iPhone 16 came out. And it came out with a lot of features that I cared about as a casual photographer. 3 upgraded cameras and a much nicer screen. It's larger, same form factor of the overall phone with slimmer bezels. It makes the user experience so much better. The main camera is upgraded to 48 megapixels versus in the past it was only 12 megapixels. Under perfect light conditions, like on a bright and sunny day, you can capture a lot more detail, especially if you turn on the option for full resolution pictures. However, normally when you're at 12 megapixels or 24, there's a little bit more binning of the megapixels, so you get a little bit of better details, but it's not astronomical. What the 40 megapixels really lets you do is to use digital zoom. What you can do is now zoom in a little bit, 2 times or 3 times, and still get more detail than before. On my iPhone 12, the moment I used any digital zoom, the picture would look basically unusable. Too grainy, lots of detail. The fact that now you can add in 2x and 3x zoom just from the main camera, it's actually pretty useful. Yeah, this is what the ultra-wide camera looks like. It's also upgraded from 12 to 48 megapixels. And under a bright sunny day like this, you might see a little bit more detail if you zoom all the way in. One new feature of the ultra wide is now you can get up close and personal and still be able to get a macro shot because of the autofocus. And now you get a little bit of better foreground background separation. The background should be a little bit blurrier. Now the minimum focus distance, basically how far you have to be from the subject in order to focus on that, is now much closer versus in the past, you needed at least 20 centimeters in order to capture a photo. And what that means is when you go up close to a subject, you can really get those nice macro photos. The last one that I really want to talk about is the 5x zoom on this phone. Is it the sharpest? No, because this is only a 12 megapixel sensor, unlike the main camera and ultra wide. However, being the first phone of this size that has the 5x zoom, I love it. And optical zoom, remember, is always much better than digital zoom. Digital zoom, you lose a lot of that detail. It's basically just zooming in on a picture after you've taken it. Now, unfortunately, this camera is only 12 megapixels, but it is still the first phone of this form factor that is not the Pro Maxes or the S24 Ultras that pack a zoom that's longer than 3x. And remember, now because the main sensor have a larger megapixel count, you can already crop it. So you have that coverage from 0.5 up to 2.5 zoom, where you're essentially maintaining full quality. So you don't really need that 3x anymore. What you need is that 5x zoom. And it gives you that versatility when you need to zoom into something much further away. And what Apple does really well is making all 3 of these cameras look very similar. So that when you're transitioning between these 3 cameras, it looks very seamless. You can go across all of the different zooms from 0.5, 1, a digital crop in, to 2, and then a 5x zoom. And you'll see that you maintain a lot of clarity and detail across all of the zoom ranges. But what I can't get over is Apple's cameras can't get rid of this glaring, where you see this reflection of very bright lights, and it's extremely distracting. Unfortunately, the front camera did not receive any spec bumps, but it's usable. This year, the Pro model is really a photographer's iPhone. There's a lot of features like taking 120 frames per second 4K video, maximum resolution, raw images. I'm not going to talk about all of that because for the majority of us casual photographers, we want the best photo using the default settings at the smallest file size so that you don't have to offload pictures and videos every single time. One other thing that's really cool with this year's iPhone is the upgraded processor. And what you will find is that you're able to open the camera app just a little bit quicker and more reliably, and even take more pictures all at the same time, taking burst pictures, and you'll reliably be able to do that, where older phones might lag a little bit and not be able to capture the moment that you're looking. In this phone, there's now 4 new studio mics, which allow you to choose in post the sound that you want to focus on, whether it's the sound in front of the camera, around you, or even behind the phone. I can tell you the quality of the sound sounds so much better, and you're in control much more than in previous phones. And even if other phones have better cameras, like I'm thinking the S24 Ultra that has better megapixel counts, you can't really get around better audio without using external mic. And this one allows you to live without an external mic, still get really good sounding audio.
Truth be told, I have never used the camera button. Sure, it can help you get access to your camera and it can help you adjust settings while you're taking pictures. It's too finicky. I like the accuracy and the confidence I have when I'm using the on-screen controls. I'm very surprised that because it's a capacitive button, that they didn't put Touch ID into this. It feels like a real big missed opportunity, and maybe that's what they're going to do with iPhone 17s, because they have all of the hardware there. They have made the screen bigger this year from previous generations iPhone Pros, where it was 6.1 inches diagonal, now it's 6.3 inches. The phone is practically the same size. It has grown a little bit. It's really where the bezels are that are thinner, and that creates this more immersive experience that I haven't really seen in all the previous phones. You have seen that in Androids over the last many years, but iPhones is the first time where they slimmed down the bezels. And it's crazy. The year that the bezels are just a little bit thinner is the year that the screen improves so dramatically that this is the year to upgrade. Truth be told, I think it's a very incremental change, but nonetheless, if you like the Apple ecosystem, this is probably the best year for the screen so far. The screen, compared against the iPhone 12, is an upgrade. It uses the LTPO panel, which means a variable refresh rate. It'll feel a little bit smoother, especially when there's a lot going on the screen. Otherwise, when there's nothing going on your screen and it's kind of the same image, then you'll see better battery life because your phone has to refresh the screen less. On to battery. So, Apple is touting that this is the best battery life that they've had on a phone, and they quote video playback time. The reality is, the way you and I use our phones is not about 24 hours of video playback time. What it is real life usage. And when you mix it all in, for me, the amount of battery life is still 1 day and you need to charge. And that means charging overnight. And here's the battery life between an iPhone 12 after 3 years versus the iPhone 16. And you can see the iPhone 16, the moment you open up that camera, record the videos or take any pictures with improved camera, which you will want to do in order to get good value for your phone, the more you use the camera, the more it's going to drain your batteries anyways.
Let's be brutally honest. There's nothing new as part of this iPhone 16. It's designed for people who want to make an upgrade. And what they want is a good phone in the iPhone ecosystem, average consumer that doesn't really care about all the newest bleeding edge features.
If you're working with an iPhone that's currently iPhone 12 or before, it's a good enough upgrade for you where you'll be happy with the screen, you'll be happy with the camera, and those are the two main things when you're looking for a new phone. Remember to like and subscribe when we review Apple Intelligence, and we'll see if that's enough to be the third reason to upgrade.